It was just another chilly morning on a lonely highway when Martha's trembling hands dropped her last $10 bill into a stranger's hand. A stranger covered in grease, bruised, and sitting beside a broken motorcycle. She had no idea that this single act of kindness would return to her like a storm. 50 roaring motorcycles would soon pull up to her worn-out house, bringing something that would change her life forever. Martha Jenkins was 76, with tired blue eyes that once sparkled like the morning sky. She lived alone in a weather-beaten cottage on the outskirts of Pineville, a small town where time moved slowly and memories stayed longer than people did. Her husband, Henry, had passed away 5 years ago, and since then, life had been a quiet rhythm of morning coffee, old photos, and the soft hum of loneliness. Her pension check had been delayed for the second month in a row. The kitchen shelf held just a loaf of bread, half a jar of peanut butter, and a few cans of soup. Still, every morning she would feed the stray cat that came to her porch, because, as she often said to herself, when you have little, sharing makes it feel like more. That cold autumn morning, Martha was walking to the nearest store to buy a few essentials with the last $10 in her purse. It wasn't much, but it meant she could stretch a few meals until her check arrived. The wind howled through the trees, carrying the scent of wet leaves and gasoline. As she reached the bend of the highway, she noticed a man sitting beside a motorcycle. His leather jacket was torn and his helmet lay on the ground. He looked exhausted, with a scrape on his arm and a look of defeat on his face. "Are you all right, son?" Martha asked softly. He looked up surprised. "Oh, yeah, ma'am, just ran out of gas, my wallet at home, and I'm about 20 miles short." He tried to smile, but his voice cracked, the kind of voice that carried more worry than words. Martha opened her purse slowly. The $10 bill looked back at her, her last safety net. She hesitated for a moment, feeling the cold bite of the wind. Then she looked at the young man again, his tired eyes, the grease on his hands, the broken look of someone who'd had a rough day. Without another word, she handed him the bill. "Take it, dear, get yourself some gas, you'll get home safe." He was stunned. "Ma'am, I can't take that, you don't even know me." She smiled, that gentle, grandmotherly smile that made strangers feel like family. "That's exactly why you should take it. We help strangers because that's when it matters most." He reluctantly took the bill, thanked her again and again, and promised he'd repay her somehow. But Martha just waved him off. "Just pay it forward, dear. That's all I ask." As she walked home, her steps were slower, her heart a little heavier, but her soul somehow lighter. She'd given away her last dollar, but she had kept her humanity. That night she had only tea for dinner. The house was quiet, the kind of silence that feels like it's listening to your thoughts. She looked at Henry's old photograph on the wall and whispered, "I hope I did the right thing, love." Little did she know, somewhere out there, the man on the motorcycle couldn't stop thinking about her, the fragile old woman who had given him her last bit of hope. The next morning, Martha woke to an unfamiliar sound, a low rumble, like thunder rolling closer and closer. She stepped onto her porch, clutching her shawl around her shoulders. The noise grew louder until she realized it wasn't thunder at all. It was motorcycles, dozens of them. Within minutes, the narrow dirt road in front of her house filled with bikers, nearly 50 of them, their chrome bikes gleaming in the morning sun. They parked neatly in a line, helmets off, faces smiling. Martha stood frozen, unsure whether to be frightened or amazed. Then one man stepped forward, the same man she had helped the day before. He was holding a bouquet of flowers and an envelope. "Martha," he said, his voice cracking slightly, "you probably don't remember me already, but I couldn't sleep last night. You gave me your last $10 and I found out what that meant. You didn't just help me, you reminded me what kindness really is." Tears filled her eyes. "Oh dear, you didn't have to." He shook his head. "No, ma'am, we had to." He turned around and gestured to the group. "Guys, meet Martha, the woman who reminded me what humanity looks like." One of the bikers rolled forward a brand new mobility scooter, deep red, shiny, and fitted with a small basket in front. Another carried grocery bags, and others followed with boxes of food, blankets, and repairs for her house. Martha gasped, her trembling hands covering her mouth. I don't know what to say." The biker smiled. "Just say yes. We heard you've been struggling, so we raised money. Every single rider here pitched in. We wanted to make sure you never have to walk miles to buy groceries again. You've got a family now, the Pineville Riders." Martha broke down in tears. The bikers gently hugged her, one after another, each saying thank you for her kindness. As the engines roared again later that afternoon, Martha sat on her new scooter, waving goodbye with a smile wider than she'd worn in years. That night she placed the bouquet of flowers beside her husband's photo and whispered, "See, Henry, the world's still good." Sometimes the smallest act of kindness, even when you have nothing, can spark a chain of goodness you could never imagine. Martha's $10 didn't just buy gas. It fueled 50 hearts with gratitude and love. Because kindness, no matter how small, always finds its way back home.